Oh shit! Forgot to click the button there. Just playing some Tropical Freeze. Amazing game. If you guys haven't picked it up, fucking awesome. Definitely a great Wii U game. Yeah, that's right. I did not buy it for Switch. I thought I would troll you motherfuckers. So I actually just had Doom going on the Switch. So I have been replaying Tropical Freeze though, and it's an amazing game. And like I said last week, if you haven't played it, definitely play this game. Whether you have a Wii U and you finally are convinced, because it's actually getting, kind of the praise it probably deserved back when it came out on Wii U, now that it's on Switch. But, I mean, if you have a Wii U and you want to play the game, it's way cheaper. Yeah, you can't play it on the bus, but or at work, at lunch. But one way or another, you should get this game. And I want to talk about, we'll talk about the sales. We'll talk about people spending the numbers to fit into their narrative and all that. I'm going to talk about the EPN network, who was the idiots that said, because of God of War, all these franchises need to be rebooted, including Metroid, even though Metroid was what inspired a lot of their ideas in God of War. They did a retro, or not a retro, they re-uploaded the review that he did back in 2014. And I just wanted to punch both guys through the screen because they were talking about how difficult it is and this and that. And it was just like, they were just really negative. And then the Switch version, he's talking about how good it looks and all this great stuff. And then threw some stuff out about the levels, you're in a world and you play a level and the next one looks kind of similar. Well, the whole idea of the game is you're progressing through this island that's going to look similar until you get to the next world. I mean, to me, I like that idea. I almost find a lot of 2D platformers and Mario games and stuff, the levels are so random from one another a lot of times. But anyway, just listen to people complain about the difficulty and stuff, and as if it's some kind of bad design or something when it's completely intentional. I was just like, you know what? I'm done. This channel's done a couple annoying things lately, and I'm done. But anyway, no, Vinny, I'm not going to talk about that because I don't talk about rumors. And like I was trying to say last week, and I just want to just start off the show here after 2 minutes in. Last week I was doing gameplay. I'm going to continue to do that, but I'm waiting for a few things to fall into place or to arrive. It's gonna look different next time you see me playing games in a live stream. I'm gonna kind of just make my juice opinions in those blended together, because I rewatched it. I was worried that I was all over the place, and actually I kind of enjoyed that. That other than a few times where I really lost track of what I was saying. And I'm gonna pick a game that's, maybe I will play a game that I haven't played before or something, just so I can kind of react to the game a little bit more. But look forward to that. And so, yeah, one of the things that I was trying to say last week about leaks and rumors is what happens when they're true. And I got completely distracted and I never brought it up again. I think there's a bigger problem when they're true than when they're just made up, because the made up stuff's so laughable, and like Yoshi's flipping around or whatever. That was laughable. People, because the dude predicted the Nintendo Switch Online updated, web page date, was wrong about all the info. Said there's going to be like Discord support and all this stuff that didn't come true, but he had May 7th right. So then the Smash rumors and stuff were legit and were real. And then a couple days later, I see, guess it was confirmed to be false. Like, no shit. Just because he predicted May 7th for the updated online when Nintendo says it's going to be early May. and a lot of people thought it'd be Monday because of that's when they update stuff. It was just pretty, you know, the guy got lucky. Everything else was wrong. And yet we're going to trust, you know, fucking Smash rumors for characters. I mean, are you kidding me? These people, I don't know. I don't understand why these people have 20, 30, 40,000 plus subs. I look down, not my news feed, but the suggested stuff in your home, in the home, you know, when you're not in your subscription feed, and it's Nintendo Switch Online, end of voice chat, no voice chat, Nintendo killing voice chat, and it's like all the same shit. It's like, do we need 10 people talking about the same thing? Do we need 10 people talking about the same leaks and rumors? Like, I'm not going to do that. But if they're true, to me, that's even worse. Now you're spoiling it for people. Some asshole puts, like Vinny brought up, I'm not going to ruin it for somebody, puts a game's image in and then says, you know, leak someone from some store pretty much confirms this game's coming out this year. Like, I'm not going to, if I found that out, I don't want to ruin it for some people. That would ruin E3 for some people. Like, maybe not ruin it, but that would really be a blow to what could be like the highlight of the show for someone. This, you know, this game potentially coming out this year, you know. So I hate that. I hate leaks. I never wanted to sneak and look at my Christmas presents early when I was a kid. I like the surprise. I like to, that was the only, yeah, I'm not yelling at you, Vinny. I'm just talking about the media in general, the YouTuber media. You know, I just want to reiterate why I don't usually talk about rumors. Definitely don't like to talk about leaks, because I think it's worse if they're true, because then that ruins something for somebody like Rayman, not Rayman, but Mario plus Rabbids sounded terrible when it was leaked. But when we saw it, it looked great. Imagine if we had no idea that game existed, and that was the first time you saw it as good as it looked. You know, how much more awesome would that have been? I don't know. We can't say, because that was taken from us. How awesome would a Ryu in Smash been, Duck Hunt, you know, in Smash, if it wasn't leaked beforehand? So that's just my thoughts on that, just so you know. But let's get back to where we started. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze released last week, and you got people boasting about the sales numbers and how it destroys Wii U's numbers. And 92,000. Wii U only did 36,000 in its first week in Japan. And it's like, aren't these the same people that were talking install bases when Wii U games weren't selling great, or when third-party games weren't selling as good on the Wii U, or even on Switch in the beginning? Like, what happened to install base? That argument's gone now, because you love the Switch. The Switch is popular. It gets you clicks. Now, the fact that the Switch version of Tropical Freeze outsold the original Wii U version by what, 54,000. But let's just leave out that the Switch has already surpassed the Wii U's lifetime sales in Japan. The Switch is over 4 million in Japan. The Wii U topped out at like 3.4 or something. What was the Wii U's install base in Japan in February 2014, I wonder? I was going to look that up. I'm guessing it was right around 1 million, because the Wii U's overall was like at 5 million at that point. So Japan was at maybe 1.5, but more probably closer to 1. And it's like, oh, so the Switch has probably nearly 4 times the install base that the Wii U had when Tropical Freeze launched. But let's brag about the Wii U Switch version outselling the Wii U version by not even 3 times, even though the install base is at least right around 4 times as much. But let's forget about that. You know, like, I mean, the Switch is successful. It's popular. We know this. But why is everything Switch does good, and everything not everything, but a lot of stuff it does good, has to be an excuse to trash the Wii U or a game from the Wii U again? Like, are we not, like, why are you still talking about the Wii U? That was 5 years ago. Why are you still bringing it up? you know, it was a great system. It had great first party games and some great exclusives, a lot of which are coming to Switch, but just let it be. It was a failure. Let it die, whatever. You can just say Tropical Freeze on Switch in Japan, 92,000. That's great numbers for a game in Japan. A 2D platformer, a Donkey Kong game, those are great numbers. You don't even have to make it about versus the Wii U numbers. I'm trying to remember where I left my water. Damn it, I didn't bring it down. But the Switch is almost 4 times the install base at this point that the Wii U had back when Tropical Freeze launched. Like, come on, guys. Don't be IGN. Don't be the opposite IGN. They're leaving out stuff but still making Nintendo sound good. They're not doing the IGN where they're taking a shot, but you got to take a shot at the Wii U. And it's like, who cares? Like, Tropical Freeze came out when the Wii U's install base was minuscule. Like, I mean, why is that a surprise? The math is so easy there. If it did anything less than at least 3 times what the Wii U's version launched, then that's a failure. Like, come on, you know? And somebody's like, oh, this just means all Switch games are going to outsell Wii U games. Well, of course. The system's already outsold it. It took, the Switch less than a year, 9 months to outsell the Wii U? And you guys are acting like it's a big news when a game outsells the Wii U version. Like, I guarantee you, Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition is going to outdo the first week numbers of Japan, even though by the time Hyrule Warriors hit, Mario Kart 8 had come out, so a couple more million Switches had, maybe not 2 million, like close to 1 million Switch or Wii U's had sold at that point, but still. If Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition doesn't outsell the week 1 sales in Japan of Hyrule Warriors on the Wii U, that's a fail, you know? And of course, I always go back to the argument, well, how much would it have sold if it was appropriately priced at 40? What would a Tropical Freeze done if it was at an appropriate price of like $40, $20 less? Like, probably would have sold well over 100,000, I would think. But I'm just glad people are buying this great game. And I was just playing it on the Wii U. It's an amazing game. It's difficult. Maybe the Funky Kong mode, even if you're playing as Donkey Kong, gives you extra couple hearts. That'll help some people because there are some very challenging levels, and it's a great game. The music's great, the visuals. It's just a beautiful game. It's well crafted, polished, great controls. You know, everything's good about the game. And you know, if it was 40 with my Best Buy discount, I would have picked it up on the Switch. I want to restarted the Wii U version. I would have, you know, it'd have been about 4 years. I would have started over just like when I started over the Wii U version. I'm like, damn, I forgot how good this was. But they didn't get that. They would rather Nintendo just get a little greedy. They'd rather have, let's say, 92,000 people buy it at $60 than have, you know, 120,000 buy it at $40, whatever the numbers would have turned out to be. I know myself, Ms. T, I don't know about Terrell. Retro Death clocked it. I think all those guys would have really considered it at $40. So they definitely missed out. But great game. So just don't understand why the Wii U needs to be brought up when you're talking about Tropical Freeze did well in Japan, you know? It's just, I don't understand that mentality. So I'm going to take a quick 20-second break because I got to find my water because it's a little bit dry. My furnace was running because it got cold this last couple days. And yeah, give me 20 seconds. I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that, but all right, I'm going to check the chat real quick. This is going to be something new. definitely going to do this when I'm doing gameplay, and just see if there's any questions related to what I was just talking about. Are there any Wii U games that you guys do want to see ported? From Vinny the Depths. They already ported way too many games for me. If I could undo what they've done and just say Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was the example I'd like to see all the games have followed, but didn't. So erase all the Pokken tournaments, the Hyrule Warriors, the Bayonettas, the Tropical Freeze, Captain Toad. Get rid of all those. And number 1 would be Fatal Frame, Maiden of Blackwater, for sure. Because they could, without the gamepad, you could still do it on the screen, use the gyro. Awesome game. Never got a physical version in the US. I'm not sure about Europe. It was a $50 game. I mean, you release that, there's not much else did have to do. I mean, it ran at 720p. Yeah, you could increase the resolution, speed up load times. Maybe they were already pretty quick. Just work on how it'd work without the gamepad. Take away the censorship, leave in the Nintendo costumes, and you got yourself a really great horror game, and something that most people didn't buy on Wii U because it didn't have a physical version. So that'd be number 1. Number 2 would be early next year, probably this time next year, maybe March or April next year, Xenoblade Chronicles X, because it's, in my opinion, a better game than Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Has a better world, has a better, the skells are a way more intriguing addition than getting new rare blades and stuff for me. And just, it was a great game, and has the battle system's very similar to X2, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I mean. But I liked the difference between the scale when you're on foot. The continents were very more varied. They had really interesting art direction, and it was just an awesome open world experience. It had a more interesting story, like plot. Now, it didn't have those awesome character interactions, the humorous, I know Zobi70 was making fun of some of the anime tropes, it didn't have a lot of character interactions like that. Just overall, the plot, the whole concept of the game was way more interesting than 2 for me. Like, that you crash land on a planet, just basically would be like Earth without humans on it, and you crash land in the ship. You have your main New LA, and you go out and explore. Like, to me, that concept's amazing. And then the art direction and the design of the continents were unforgettable. Like Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I'm having trouble even really pinpointing in one, other than the inside the stomach, the first Titan you went inside. What the hell was that one? It was like a lot of blues and purples and stuff, foliage. Like, times that by about 10, and that was Xenoblade Chronicles X's, art direction, and there was way more cool stuff for me personally. So yeah, those would be the 2 for sure. I wouldn't be mad about Bayonetta Tropical Freeze at $40, so, but those are definitely the 2 that I would have. Grinpachi, Kirby should be ported, and Yoshi, which Kirby on Wii U though was touchscreen only. That'd be a hard sell on Switch, where you couldn't have it on dock mode and play it. Great game though. It's my favorite Kirby game. Yoshi's Woolly World, I would say, if we weren't getting this really awesome looking Yoshi game this year. So, and you gave Breath of the Wild a solid 8. I mean, that's your opinion. I don't know what you'd give a 9 or a 10. But anyway, Tokyo Mirage Sessions, a lot of people would like that ported just because it came at the tail end. Not a lot of people bought it, but I don't know if I could handle, for me personally, I don't know if I could get into the J-pop and that whole concept of the game, but for the people that like RPGs and stuff, it sounded like it was really well received, so I wouldn't have a problem with that one. Star Fox Zero, some people said, well, they could bring that and take away the motion control. Well, the motion controls aren't the problem. It was the second screen needed for some of the missions that really fucked people, because the gyro aiming worked, just like Splatoon or in Doom, and like they worked really well. It was just the second perspective, and I don't think they'd have to redesign the game pretty heavily. So I don't see that happening. Yeah, Mario Tennis Ultra trash. Yeah. But I don't need any more Wii U ports. So, all right, let's talk about Days Gone. So some videos were uploaded. Game Informer did like a developer live playthrough. It wasn't live, but it was, about an hour's worth of the game while they were talking. And then there was a 5-minute video on Game Informer about them, like, basically trying to sell the game to people that were skeptical about another zombie game, another open world game, and not convinced at all. One of the things, and this is going to go back to the whole, gameplay over story and visuals and all that. So if you're a story and visuals over gameplay guy, then Days Gone's probably music to your ears when he said they were going for, quote, "We want to make the game as realistic as possible. So we put a lot of money into cinematics and environments and all that." That was kind of paraphrasing at the end, but they want to make it as real as possible. They want the characters to look as real as possible. They want the world to look as real as possible. And then if Clocktit's checking it, this video, I don't know if he's here live or not, they want it to look as real as possible, but just like he pointed out in his last video, they want to go that step, but then they don't want to have anything interacting with each. It's just like driving through grass or walking through grass and it doesn't move again. You just walk through it. Like, you're going for realism, but then you leave out those little details that would really add to it. Maybe it's not worth the work, but once I heard, that was kind of their priority. I heard, listen to the dialogue. I do like the one actor that plays the main character, but I'm just like, I'm watching The Last of Us again. I'm watching Uncharted again. Like, it's just the same type of game. And people call me a Nintendo fanboy all you want. Sony fans and Microsoft fanboys say Nintendo just makes the same games over and over. But look at Zelda Breath of the Wild. Look at Mario Odyssey. Look at ARMS. Look at Splatoon 2. Tell me those games are in any way similar in how they look, play, or the main gameplay mechanics. What other games could you look at? They didn't make Mario plus Rabbids, so I won't count that one. Just thinking of Switch games. But if you look at, like, let's say Tropical Freeze just come out. Look at that next to Super Mario Odyssey. They play nothing alike, But if you look at PlayStation exclusives, look at Days Gone and you see a guy, main character, walking with an AI companion. You look at The Last of Us, you see, a scruffy, grizzled male with an AI companion. You look at Uncharted, you see, scruffy male protagonist, main character, AI companion. God of War, scruffy male character walking, AI companion. You tell me that these games don't look the same from that basic standpoint? I feel like I left one out. And Horizon, that's the one different one. You got a female. At least she's kind of scruffy. She's kind of, she's kind of wild, and no AI companion. So there you go. There's a game that doesn't have an AI companion. Detroit Becoming Human I don't know how that really works, those types of games. But those are what, 4 or 5 different franchises that if you like did a silhouette and of the characters and then kept the world environment, would you really be able to tell which game's which? I wonder. If Breath of the Wild was linear like God of War, that story, heaven. I might have just watched it being played online, never bought a Switch. At least that. Talking about if Breath of the Wild was linear with that story, yeah, I mean, the game wasn't designed really to have, a story. Like, it was designed to work whether you just went and played and did whatever you want, and didn't even find the memories, or it was designed to, if you wanted to go in this kind of the guided order. There was so many different ways that game was designed to be able to handle different playstyles. But you can't deny that, like I said, if you did silhouetted out the characters and left kind of the environments, most of those Sony exclusives, they're big AAAs, you wouldn't be able to tell them apart. Now, there's a lot of differences in once you get into the game, but there's also more similarities. Just like God of War, you hoist your kid up and he throws down a chain so now you can climb up. In The Last of Us, you hoisted Ellie up. She dropped a ladder. Uncharted, you hoist people up, then you run and you jump and you grab their hand instead of falling to your death. Happens all the time. And it's just like, so I'm listening to him trying to convince people why another zombie game and another open world game is interesting. And his argument for the zombie part was, well, I still love zombie games. I'm not tired of that. Okay. What about open world games? Well, ours is different because there's constant danger. You're not just going into camps. Okay. I mean, it's constant danger in other open world games. So what else is there? And it kind of got the feeling Game Informer was kind of, I got to give them props. They were kind of asking the tough questions there, not just kissing his ass and sugarcoating it. Like, this is a tough sell. This is going to be a tough sell for this game. And I believe it's not coming out this year. I think it got pushed to 2019. And it might end up being a really enjoyable game. The way the zombie hordes move at you, or random encounters of whatever they call them. They're trying to not call them zombies. I saw a lot of getting knocked off your motorcycle with some terrible hit detection and some ridiculous lunging of these characters. That tells me that it just doesn't look that fun. The motorcycle gameplay looks sluggish. It doesn't look that fun to me. Honestly, God of War looks infinitely better than Days Gone to me. So I don't know. Horizon looked, out of all these games, Horizon was the most appealing to me, the most intriguing. The one I bought my PlayStation 4 for, and actually that and Gravity Rush 2. And it didn't quite live up to my expectations, but it definitely stands out. And I would play it again. So, but Days Gone, I don't know, I think that's maybe the Sony fan base will jump on it with the right marketing and stuff, and maybe it's that type of game. But at some point, it's like, don't you want something different, Sony fan? Like, if your main console is a PlayStation 4, I know you got all the third-party games, so maybe that's why it's different. If you're used to just always having all those third-party games, then it doesn't matter to you. You can just pick and choose your Sony exclusives. But I just see Days Gone, and it just blends right into the rest, especially the Last of Us series. So let's get into Sony's E3. And they're not doing a press conference. So as Terrell pointed out, Sony's not going to be at E3, right, guys? Sony's not there. And if Nintendo wasn't at E3 because they didn't do a presentation, is now the time for everyone to realize that press conferences aren't the future. They're not the end all be all of being at E3. What are these 80 million plus PS4 owners going to think when they don't have their typical Sony press conference? Are they going to be mad, or are they going to be, happy? Who knows? But Nintendo did it. 2013 was the first year, so there's been 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17. So this will be the 6th time Nintendo has not had a press conference at E3. It'll be the first time Sony did it. And people kept saying it was a bad decision, Nintendo. Now's the time. The Switch is out. Now is the time, Nintendo, to be at E3 presentation. We got to hear people cheering when these games get shown, because that makes it so much more exciting. How many people watched the Mario Odyssey trailer from E3? It was like 20-some million. you didn't need people shouting in the crowd to make that an exciting thing. In that one moment, yeah, it probably would have been cool for the people there. For everyone else that watches online, that don't mean anything anymore. So Sony's figured it out. They're going to highlight Spider-Man, Days Gone, The Last of Us 2, and I think one other game. They're going to go dive deep and probably be like Treehouse. They're probably going to do something. Maybe it's going to be pre-recorded. Maybe it's going to be live. They're totally going to copy Nintendo. And I just wonder what the Sony fans are going to say about it. They're going to be happy or not. But let's be real here. 2 years ago, Sony knocked it out of the park with an hour-long presentation, a live orchestra, even though Nintendo had live orchestras in the past, revealed God of War, Spider-Man, maybe Days Gone, Death Stranding. Quick, no bullshit, live gameplay. And I said, people love that. E3 2017 comes around. Orchestra, God of War, Spider-Man, Days Gone. They tried to start it with the Uncharted Lost Legacy, whatever. Got no hype. No one in the audience even reacted. It was pretty much a repeat of the show before. What's this year's E3 going to be? Days Gone, Spider-Man. Well, now you got Last of Us 2. Sony I'm sure they just realized, like, why spend millions of dollars to do that when we can do what Nintendo does and sell 18 million consoles? You know, Nintendo sold 18 million plus Switches without E3 presentations. So I think it's a good move. I'm excited. Curious to see what they actually do or how it works, because Microsoft is still all in with their press conference. I don't know why. They love paying money to show you guys all these third-party games you can play on your PS4 and PC, along with the Xbox. So, but, I would rather see a little more in-depth, intricate video showing off The Last of Us 2 than some bullshit scripted 8 to 10 minute gameplay where they make sure everything happens the way they want. Especially when they first showed Days Gone, like it ended, the guy turns and there's the horde and it fades to black. He wasn't playing that fucking game. So I'm actually excited about this. And yeah, they're I'd say the last two Sony press conferences were identical. They were good. The ones before were the super long ones. If you remember 2015 and 2014, they were like 2 hours long. They had Little Big Planet 3 sessions. They had talking about numbers, how many times the share button was hit, all that bullshit. And so the last 2 years have been a big improvement. Microsoft's last year was all about launch console exclusive. There was more versions of that. There was like exclusive, Xbox exclusive, launch console exclusive, Windows 10 and Xbox exclusive. If they do that again, I might turn the fucking thing off. Like if I hear Windows 10 and Xbox exclusive in the first few minutes, I might turn off the press conference and rely on the rest of the Juice Loose crew to tell me how it was. I don't know if I want to hear that. But yeah, Sea of Thieves. I mean, Microsoft has Crackdown 3 potentially to show. State of Decay 2 looked like trash last year. I mean, as far as like, it looked like a 7th gen game, no doubt about it. So if they have games, they're all going to be surprises. So I mean, that could be exciting. But Sony, I like what you're doing, and we'll see how it goes. And then maybe it'll be something they do continue to do. Maybe it won't work for them and they go back. We'll see. But I expect this to kind of be the new standard. If I'm not mistaken, they said something about E3 becoming less relevant. I don't know if that's true, because look what E3 did for Breath of the Wild. Look what E3 did for Super Mario Odyssey. I think it can be very useful. It's just relevant in the need to have big old press conferences and elaborate things going on, and just show your games. That's what people want. They just want to play games. They want to see the games they're going to play. If you're a Sony fan, then you want to see the game you're going to be watching. You want to see the cutscenes you're going to be watching and hope they're good. So But yeah, I'm actually really excited for E3s. And I think on the Juiceless podcast, not this one Monday, but the following one, we'll have to start our E3 predictions for Microsoft and then Sony and then Nintendo. So very exciting. It's also scary that the first half of the year is almost already gone. I haven't even bought a new game this year. The closest thing to a new game I bought was buying some old games. The Wolfenstein: The New Order on the PS4 for $14, and then SteamWorld Dig 1 on the Switch's eShop for like $8 or something, $7. That's it. Those are the games I bought this year, and that's, you know, good for the wallet, bad for my gaming habits and enjoyment. I mean, I would have loved to be playing some great new first-party Nintendo game right now. Wolfenstein 2, that would have came out, I probably would have bought it. But since I'm talking about Wolfenstein 2, I did play the New Order a little bit more. I got to an area I think it's like the hub world. It's like the where your group of allies is kind of a base, and I'm kind of, it's got a little mission where I just got to find, kind of navigate through there. I'm not sure how the rest of the game is going to branch out from here. I will say it's about as much of a Call of Duty clone as any game I've ever played. It's even more so than I first thought, and less like BioShock 2 or BioShock Infinite, I mean. And it's just like complete Call of Duty clone. Like, you get in a car and you drive and you crash through a window and then it goes to a cutscene. Like, why even make me drive that car? All I did was hold the freaking right trigger, and then that was it. Like, I didn't have to do anything. It required no skill. And it's just like, I'm disappointed. But I'm glad I bought this game for $15, and then I watched all the Wolfenstein 2 Switch footage, and I'm like, man, this is all this game offers. Like, I am not mad about the physical version of Wolfenstein 2 requiring a download now, because I'm not going to buy the game. I have no interest in this game now that I'm playing the New Order. Now, I'll probably keep playing that, just, you know, at least get past where I'm at now to see how the game branches out from this little hub area. But there's nothing. I mean, it's definitely, you know, this game that I'm playing definitely has roots in, it's a 7th gen game. It feels like a Call of Duty clone. I mean, there's really nothing interesting going on, in my opinion. Then, you know, it kind of sucks, because I was hoping to be more like Doom and less like Call of Duty, and it's way more like Call of Duty, nothing like Doom. So, I'm not looking forward to Wolfenstein 2 on the Switch for sure, and definitely, I was thinking about picking up PS4 version for $24, but now I'm like, why? Like, it looks like just the same game again, and I'll wait for Doom 2 probably later this year, maybe early next year, and that's what I'll get. So, let's talk about this. Nintendo Switch is online. They updated while we were doing. Grimpachi says Wolfenstein 2 is so different than COD. Has the exact same button layout, has scripted events, it has action, like, sequences. You're riding in a car, looking around. You're shooting stuff. You're reloading. All the same buttons, all the same actions. The only thing that's a little bit different is you're in this area and you kind of just take the guys out. Whereas Call of Duty is just like you're always moving forward and there's endless guys coming till you get to a point. Well, Wolfenstein 2 gets to where this door will open and this endless guys come out. You shoot them. You finally kill like 10 dudes and you look in that door and it's just like a small little room like they came out of. You know, it's just, you know, maybe once I get further, it'll change. But anyway, let's get onto the Switches Online. During the podcast last week, they updated their website. I give them an F for rolling it out this way because it didn't clear up anything. The only thing it did was, hey, there's going to be cloud saves for backup. If you're, you know, if you pay for the service, and the detailed the NES games, 20 games, and, you know, how they're going to work and stuff. You didn't mention messaging whatsoever. You talked about voice chat working through the app for games that support it via the lounge, but didn't clarify, is the lounge now go into the app, click lounge, add your friends and talk to them, or does the lounge still work like I got to boot up Splatoon or whatever game, I got to go to the lounge option in the game, boot it, then turn my phone's app on, and then add friends, and then we can only play that game together and only talk if everybody's in that game. They didn't clarify that. So I'm judging them on what they laid out for us, which is not much. They really need a video showing, like, they need to roll this thing out and show exactly how it's going to work. That's when I'm going to be like, that's when I'll judge it. And if I want to get mad or say how stupid it is or whatever, I can only say how stupid this little rollout idea was, where just update the website and then put a thing on the Switch, kind of vaguely detailing things. So am I mad that the voice chat's tied still to an app? No, I never cared about that because that's how I do my voice chat anyway. I've been doing it that way for over a year. This is what I use for my voice chat. If I had a PlayStation 4 Plus membership, this is what I would be doing for my voice chat. I use Hangouts. I think it's better than Discord. It's just the way it is. So for me, just disclaimer, my Switch is 10 feet from me when I'm playing. So I don't really have too many options anyway that I like. The phone app, if that was an option, was going to be the way I was going to use. So just disclaimer, you know, that's what I would use if it was built into the system and the app was there. I'd still use my phone, probably use Hangouts either way, but just want you to know that before we go any further. So how they rolled this out, not very clear. More questions than answers. The pricing was the only thing that really is dead set clear. Great. I love the pricing. I like the 3 month. I like the 1 month. I like the year. I like the family plan. All good stuff. Fair price. The cloud backups is a great addition, because I was already, for $20 in a year just to be able to play. You know, Nintendo's got to charge for these games to play them online. To me, that's a bonus, because I was going to pay that $20 just to be able to play the games online. But again, I'm judging it by how they did it, and I give it an F. Now, am I super worried about how everything's going to work? No. They've been talking here and there too much about how it's going to be good for me to just like write it off based on this. Like I said, if the lounge is just like, okay, you open the app, it's like you open Discord or Hangouts, click on lounge. All right. Create a group, send invites to Miza T, level, or Miza T, Retro, Robert, Clocked It, you know, whoever. And they come in, hey, what's up? Hey, you know, you guys want to play something? That would be fine. That would absolutely be a win for me. If it works like it has to in Splatoon 2, where you have to boot up the game, go to the lounge, because it says that's how it's going to work with the NES Classics. The voice chats through the lounge. If you have to go into Balloon Fight, click on the lounge and add friends, and they have to be playing Balloon Fight or whatever, just as an example, to join the voice chat, epic fail. I'll be right there with everyone protesting, telling Nintendo how stupid they are. So, but until we get that, I'm not going to sit there and be ranting and raving when I don't even know what it has and what it doesn't. I could be mad. I could be mad that they didn't let us know at this point, but it doesn't come out till September. Do I really need to know right now? I mean, it doesn't. Does it change if I know it now, or if I know it in June, July, August? Does it change anything? No. So I guess I'll just give what I really, kind of hope it is. All right. One thing, you got to add a messaging system soon. Like, I was hoping that could be implemented like right now. Like, hey, messaging system live now. I hope you can send individual screenshots to certain people or certain groups. That would be great. As far as games, it seems like the games are not every game's going to require the membership to play online. I guess maybe that's going to be up to third parties. But they didn't list Smash for whatever reason. But Sushi Strikers they listed. Maybe Smash, you won't have to pay. Who knows? But it better be a good connection. And, you know, better be reliable. Once you're paying, there better be less, you know, cannot connect to parties to other person's device or whatever, you know, Splatoon 2, you know, peer-to-peer bullshit. Hopefully that goes away. But let me just ask this question, because I know this is going to be the big thing. Everyone's like, why can't the voice chat just work through the system? And then have the app be an option too. I mean, that's not a terrible question. But let me ask you, how do you plan on doing voice chat? Let's say they put it in the system. They already confirmed that the Bluetooth signals are all being used by the controllers. So it can support up to a bunch of controllers. Maybe they could turn that off. Hey, once you add more than 2 controllers, the Bluetooth gets cut off. You can't do voice chat, because why would you anyway? Maybe they could free that up. But from what we know right now, the Bluetooth signal is being taken up by the controllers. So that's not available. Does Wi-Fi? Can you work through your Wi-Fi network? I'm not sure. So how would you be planning on doing voice chat if it was built into the Switch? How do you expect to be able to do voice chat? I'm guessing most people are thinking through the headphone jack on the Switch, and the rest are thinking through the USB port on the Switch dock. So not terrible options if, you know, you're like Meza T or Nintendo Ultra or Terrell. Your Switch is sitting there right next to your computer, right next to everything. It's arm's reach away. Like, if I was playing that way, I would really probably be hoping that the Switch could do voice chat internally. But let's say you're like me and you sit 10 feet from your Switch, from your dock. So are there headsets with 15-foot cords? Maybe. Do I want that? No. Wi-Fi dongle, that's probably the best option. Plug that in. It works right now with the PlayStation 4 headset, where you plug in the USB and it's wireless. It doesn't support the mic or anything, but you can have the game audio come through. So it'd be simple. If you're lucky, or if you have one, you have a USB headset, whether it's wired or wireless, that has a mic, and it supports it, that would be an option. So I'm not against options and stuff. I'm just telling you, for my setup, I would have to go out and buy a wireless headset if that was supported. I'd have to go out and buy that. So for me, it's not that simple. Luckily for me, the option I would choose is an option that's supported. So I can see why, if you have a great USB headset, a wireless one, like the PlayStation 4 one or something, and you could use that and you wouldn't have to go out and spend money. If it was supported, I can see that being appealing to you, just like why this is appealing to me, because that's what I use anyway, and I like it. My phone is a Droid Turbo, the first one, but the battery life still lasts about 32 hours, regular use. I can have this charging in voice chat, and within an hour, it's fully charged. My phone's cool. I turn the screen off, and I just voice chat for hours and hours, and it barely uses any battery life. It's right there next to me anyway. It works perfect for me. So for me, there's no difference between plugging my headset into this and plugging a headset into this. But I understand other people have the proper setup, or they have a setup where they're close enough to the Switch where if they could just plug it in there, they'd love it. So for me, it actually cost me more if it was on the Switch. If the voice chat was through the Switch, it would cost me more because I'd have to go out and buy a wireless headset. But for others, I'm just curious, because I think some of this is fake outrage. How many people that are mad about the app? Now, we can be mad about the app once we see the final version. If it sucks, you know, that's a completely different story. Let's say the app comes out and it's pretty good, and you know, then they can fix other stuff. I mean, they can update stuff too. But how many of the people that are raging about this have Discord installed on their phone, Hangouts, Skype, and use it? To me, if you have those apps on your phone and you're mad because Nintendo's going to have an app, that just seems silly to me. Like, if you're using these other apps on your phone anyway, what's the harm? And what do you even need the Switch Online app if you're already using Discord? If you already have it on your phone, if you have it on your computer, you use it for other things. Why do you have to use Nintendo's app, like, or built-in voice chat? Do you really use the built-in voice chat on your PS4 or Xbox One? I'm just asking, because I don't have PlayStation Plus, I don't have an Xbox, and I don't game on my PC. So, but if I gamed on my PC, most of those games don't even support in-game voice chat. It's just whatever people's favorite services, and that's just for PC users. They don't give a shit about in-game voice chat. They don't use it. They use alternative. They use third-party stuff. I'm going to continue to use Google Hangouts unless Nintendo gives me such a good reason that it's better than Hangouts. Then I'll use that. But as far as the other features, messaging and stuff, that needs to be there. Like, I shouldn't have to use Google Hangouts to, or let's say shouldn't have to post a picture to Twitter, save it to my phone so I can send it to a couple friends. Like, should be able to do that from the Switch. Is it the fact you have to pay for it? Why people care if it was free? I don't know. They would care. Well, the Wii U's was free, and people trashed it all the time for not having features that Xbox had for $60 a year. Like, it was free on the Wii U, and people were mad they couldn't do some of the stuff they could do on Xbox. The Wii U's online and voice chat and stuff was way better than the Switch's current setup. Call of Duty had full support for in-game voice chat through the gamepad, plug in a headset, on-screen notifications, on-screen invites, parties. You couldn't do a party chat outside the game, but you could do party chats in the game. I mean, it had everything. The Wii U actually had way more support. The Miiverse, there was a messaging system, and it was way better than the current Switch's system. So, and then the other thing, I'm glad you brought up the price. I mentioned the price. So you could make an argument, hey, I'd rather pay $60 and get all these features I like. Okay, I'm not going to argue with that. But you can't tell me you're expecting every feature, every single benefit of PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live Gold for a third the price. To me, that makes no sense to demand that or expect that. But maybe Nintendo over time gets to that. I mean, by the time that comes out, it'll be over a year and a half since the Switch launched. Nintendo delayed the service. Everyone's hoped, and maybe this little update kind of put some more fear into people than hope, but you'd hope that they knew we needed to make this right, and that's why they delayed it almost a full year. Now, if they delayed it a full year and it's still shit, then I'm not going to give them a pass. I'm just saying, I'm not mad about the voice chat thing because I could care less. I'm using Hangouts. I almost guarantee you I'll still continue to use Hangouts, even if this app is decent, But I should be able to message a friend. I've told the story 20 times. Anya was a friend of mine on Wii U from the Miiverse, from a posting on the same game. We became friends. We message each other at least once a week. She's lived in Germany. I live in the United States. I don't know. I never asked her personal stuff. It was just a pure gaming friendship, gaming discussion. Seemed like we had a lot of similar things, gaming related. We're friends on the Switch now. The Miiverse is gone. I have absolutely no way to talk to her and see how she's liking the Switch, see what games she likes. I can look at her playtimes and see she plays a lot of Splatoon 2, but that's it. So that needs to happen. And I'm really disappointed that wasn't like, here's something we'll give you in the meantime. We'll give you this messaging system. It's going to be great. Now, do I want to type messages on my Switch using the D-pad and buttons? Or would I rather use messages through the Switch's app on my phone? I'd rather use my phone. But neither option's available. Give me one. Give me one of those options. And, if the only option is to message people via the phone app in the beginning, I'm sure people will complain about that too. Oh my God, it's so cumbersome. It's so cumbersome. I'm typing a message. I don't have to get out of anything in my game. I don't have to go to the home menu. I don't do nothing. I'm waiting for a Splatoon 2 match to start. I can't go to the home menu. So I'm going to use my phone anyway. But anyway, it seems like for certain people using a phone, whether it's maybe they don't like smartphones, maybe they don't use their smartphone all the time. But if you're on this thing, if you're posting tweets and stuff every 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever, a couple times a day, every hour, lunch breaks, smoke breaks, if you're checking your phone like that, then what is the harm in doing that for Nintendo? Like, it's fine for everything else except if Nintendo wants you to do it. So I think it's just the fact that the option is it's limiting what you can do, and Nintendo's known for giving you many options, like controller options for games. The Wii U was king of, like, you can control this game like 10 different ways, So not everyone has a phone. Come on, Grimpachi. Name me one person that you know, and maybe you know somebody. I couldn't tell you one person that I know right now that I've met, that I know, friends, family, distant relatives. I couldn't tell you one person that doesn't have a phone or a smart device, tablet. My buddy's 4-year-old has his own tablet. So you just get out of here with not everybody has a phone. So, okay, Stefan, you don't have a smartphone. You don't have a tablet. You don't have an iPad. So are you in America or you're somewhere else? Just curious. But, so what percentage do you think of people don't have a smartphone? Just curious. I bet it's under 0.5% of the only population. So you're in Ireland, okay? So that definitely sucks, for you. I'm not sure, what other regions, what other countries this is going to affect, but not everyone has everything. I don't know. I see people using food stamps to buy, food at the grocery store, and they got a freaking iPhone. So, I mean, it's hard to judge who has what and who doesn't. And if you don't want one, that's your choice. I didn't want one for the longest time, and then I was like, I just caved. And once I had one, it's kind of like you are kind of tethered to it. It becomes part of your muscle memory. Every commercial break during a TV show, I pull up my phone, and I'm already on Twitter, even when I just was there 5 minutes ago. So yeah, there are some bad things to having it. So I'm kind of for getting rid of smartphones. I wish, wish we could go back to the world before that, but it's just the fact of the matter is, I'd say less than 1% of gamers. If you got one of these and you don't have a smartphone, then it's not like you're against technology or this and that. You're a gamer. You have internet. You have a Switch. You're watching YouTube. Is there anybody watching this live stream on their phone right now? I'm just curious, because I watch all Terrell and Ms. T's live streams on my phone while I'm playing games and stuff. So I'm just curious. But anyway, for all the people that have smartphones, that use their smartphone, which is most people, why is it such a big deal that Nintendo wants you to use your smartphone and tablet that you use anyway? To me, the days of console locked online features and stuff, that's gone. Sony has their app. Xbox has an app. Using your system to do it, that's going to be a thing of the past. I'm just telling you right now, the future is the smart device option. That's just the facts. If you look at it, the last couple of years, all the things now that are done on smart devices, standalone cameras, unless you get a DSLR and you're a really enthusiast, no one goes out and buys a separate camera now. You got your smartphone. Not a lot of people, go out and buy a lot of things because you can do it on your smartphone. I don't need a laptop. I got my phone. Like, why would I need a big old laptop? You know, I had one and I sold it because I didn't use it. So that's just, in my opinion, Nintendo's just looking for once to the future and not really, they skipped this whole time. They skipped the online built through the console for three generations. Pretty soon, I think you're going to be playing your Xbox games off this. Stream it to your TV, play it on there with the controller. I don't think there's going to be home consoles in the next 10 years coming out. I think you're just going to be streaming games to a device. So not saying I want that, just saying that's what I think. And but again, just to reiterate, in case you missed this, you were typing or something, I'm going to wait till we know exactly how this is going to work before I'm like cheering it or cussing Nintendo out. How they presented it wasn't very clear. A lot of questions, not a lot of answers. It seems pretty clear, though, that the voice chat will be used through the app specifically. They specifically said that, so I wouldn't expect anything different. Let's just hope the app's really good. If the app is really good, seamless, connects to your game, your Switch, like perfect, party chat, everything for $20 a year, I'm gonna be happy. So, and I think eventually people will come around. But who knows? Who knows where it'll end up? But we'll talk about this kind of stuff more and more on the Juices Loose podcast. We're going to continue with having different hosts. So I believe Terrell confirmed he was going to host. Otherwise, I'm going to clocked it. Seemed pretty passionate about some of the news last couple of days. So yeah, look forward to that. Maybe not next Friday. Depends on when something arrives. But the next time you see me doing a live gameplay, it's going to look a little different. It's not. I don't want you to get you too excited. It's just gonna look a little more professional. And then we'll see how that goes. If that goes well and I like how things are going, I'll probably get a capture card, and that way I can do. And I have to buy like a different AC or second AC adapter for my Switch, so I can easily move my Switch dock downstairs. But I think that's coming in the future. And yeah, we'll look forward to that. I'm going to go play some video games right now, and then I'm going to relax. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Hopefully my opinions didn't get too many thumbs down. And actually, I don't care. Yeah. But anyway, it's been fun and good talking. Glad everybody showed up. This is one of the bigger live audiences I've had in a while, so appreciate that. And yeah, so guys, play some games. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.